Hey everybody, welcome back into Urban Meyer's Pint House. This is Weekend Kickoff. This is a championship edition brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. The national title game is here. That's Bobby Carpenter, B.B. Landers, Zach Boren, Cardale Jones. Ohio State and Alabama on track. Monday night, forget what you've heard elsewhere maybe. Ohio State has practiced every day this week. The Woody Hayes Athletic Center is open. And the Buckeyes beat the Tar out of Clemson last week in the Sugar Bowl. And then Cardale went and got right into it with Nick Saban's daughter to get the.
Whoa. Yeah. I wouldn't say got into her like that, but I know what you mean. I'm picking up what you put down. But yeah, she tried to throw some dirt and start a little shade at the Buckeyes, so we had to set her straight.
Wouldn't you think that they'd learned their lesson? Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you went out.
Oh, whoa. Don't make me feel old now. Say 5, 6 years ago. The last time we played them.
Couple
yeah,
years
last time we played them. Yeah, man, I don't think they want to see it.
About? I was sitting in the stands that game.
Oh, man. Now you
long
make me
time
really
ago,
man.
When you thought theread be no trash. Hey, whoa, there's
Let's
Anthony
go.
Schlegel.
OH.
Holy cow.
I'm juiced out of my mind. I just got done teaching a class for Fisher. And we're here to talk about the dadgum Buckeyes beating the crap out of Alabama. And I hear Cardale talking smack to Saban's daughter, which is absolutely true. As a matter of fact, I was juiced out of my mind when you dump truck that safety. And then you had the reverse where Evan threw that touchdown pass.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys ready for this game or what? I am. I see you. I see you. You have juice, young lady. You have juice. We need 16,000 of her.
16,000. Let's go.
Forget however many Alabama has, just 16,000.
Yeah, bump them.
Like I really thought for this week that there wouldn't be any of that, Dabo level trash talk and motivation. You just have to be the underdog. And then, lo and behold, the Alabama Crimson Tide didn't say anything. And it's Nick Saban's daughter. She doesn't know the process, Bob.
Yeah, it's amazing. Nick Saban loathes Twitter and probably loathes all social media. And he's as polished. I mean, you heard everything coming out of Alabama. It was nothing but respect. Heck, it was nothing but respect the week before for Notre Dame. That's why I wish someone would have followed up when Nick's talking about how great they are here and great they are there. Tell me exactly why these guys are great at this position, Nick, because we both know that you're lying.
Right.
Now, with Ohio State, you just watched them hang 49 on Clemson. So it's like, all right, well, great wide receivers, all this other stuff. But the fact that his daughter comes out and spits that, deletes her Twitter, comes back on, has an apology, deletes it again. Like, I would have loved to have been on that phone conversation or maybe even in the house in person. That would have been even better. When you're like your grown child, you have to scold them like a 6-year-old for acting immature.
Oh, for sure. I'd have loved to have been a fly on the wall just to see Nick call her. Just imagine some of the times where we as players know that we were in trouble and the coach called you in there and you just preparing yourself. What was going through her head as she's a grown woman and your dad is about to lay it to you? It's just like how, like that. If his office was 10 steps away, that 10 steps probably felt like 1,000 steps. Go in there and get that ripping of the world.
I'll tell you exactly how it feels. It actually happened to me, like my first 2 weekends on campus. Bob knows this. I mean, I remember the first weekend I went out.
That's what Schlegweiser came around.
Papa Schlegweiser, man, Troy, Schleg's, you can't do this. I mean, we brought you from the I got you, coach. We brought you from the Air Force Academy to mentor guys. I got you. Won't happen again. Poof, David Copperfield, week 2. What happens? Well, how many beers did you actually have? Oh, coach, I mean, you were already ready. I only had 2.
I was in this meeting.
I only had 2 to 3. Multiply it by 10, but go Bucks. Yeah, it was bumpy, but she probably didn't have that good of a story like I did.
No way.
I think it's just good. I mean, Cardale doesn't know anything about guys sending a tweet that they regret instantly. So that's.
I don't regret anything.
You don't regret nothing. I see you. Yes.
Actually, I don't.
I remember that day.
Oh, me too. Oh my God, me too.
But at least you didn't delete your account twice. So
no, I stuck by it.
Your guns just because you got to be in a class. Live and learn. All right, Ohio State dominates Clemson, just like we all said last week before we came in for Weekend Kickoff last Friday night in the Sugar Bowl. Just a dominant performance in every single way. What's your number one takeaway from what the Buckeyes did? And how can they duplicate that on Monday night to win a title?
Well, their offensive line came up and really showed out. And we've talked about growers and showers a lot on this program, and they've kind of been growing all year, and they finally had everybody there together, and we're finally able to put it on the page, to put it all on the same page and show everyone what they could do, because that was my main concern. Like, they could knock Clemson off the ball. They'll be fine. You can run the ball. You can do just about anything you want with the receivers and quarterback that are on Ohio State's roster. They did that. They have to continue to do that against Notre Dame. But that was the biggest thing, probably on both sides of the ball. Front seven on the defense, offensive line dominating up front, because that set the tone for the game. Everything else is just gravy at that point.
For me, it was the front seven. D-line did a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage and making a new line of scrimmage play in and play out, making Trevor Lawrence throw in a tunnel and being very uncomfortable applying that pressure almost every play. And then another player for me was Justin Hilliard. I feel like he was all over the field the whole night, making plays, play after play, and he's making impactful plays. He's turning the game around. So.
Did he come in the same recruiting class as you, baby?
Yes,
No,
sir.
he came in with Schleggs and I.
Yeah, he did. I know. He owed his
I'm
head.
lobbying to see if he can get that 7. He needs to come back for that 7th
He could
year.
get it. I mean,
He
he's
can get
allowed
it.
to.
He can.
Yeah.
I asked him if he'd do it, and he said he feels like he's given everything he can for the Buckeyes.
Right.
He still has one. No, he still has one more Achilles to
He's
give.
got,
Oh, my God.
he's got one more game left in him with the Buckeyes. I mean, 3 biceps tears,
And
an
an
Achilles
Achilles.
injury. Schleggs, I mean, the dude is
He's
it's
awesome.
incredible what he's doing.
Yeah, it's incredible. It really reminds me of 2014 and Curtis Grant. In the last games of our season that year, and Curtis was a 5-star guy along with Hilliard, he really showed out in those last 3 games. His best 3 games of his entire career. And in that 2014 season, he had Raekwon McMillan, and Curtis could have went one of 2 ways. He could have said, hey, you know what? It's all about me, but instead he helped bring Raekwon along, and in doing so made himself better. In those 3 games, he had his best games. And we're seeing that from Justin Hilliard. My key to the game was scoring in the red zone. I think that Ryan Day did a great job of understanding what they needed to do and attacking that. And how did they do that? The dadgum tight ends. That was big-time ball. They had 3 touchdowns. So my key to the victory was the tight ends. I love the way he ran with tempo, but that's because Clemson likes to do a lot of things and give you a lot of different looks, and it caught them napping. They're out of position. Alabama doesn't do that. Alabama has the dudes to line up and just play ball. I don't necessarily if that's going to be able to work, but I definitely think that he's going to have an answer because points can be scored on Alabama.
My key to the game was something that we've been talking about all year. It's playing a complete game. How many times this year did we talk about, the Buckeyes would have a great first half and then let off. They would come out in the Big Ten championship game, terrible first half, and completely dominate the second half. They did not put together a full 60-minute game, and we knew going into that Clemson game last Friday that they had to put together a full 60-minute game. They finally did that. If we were to really touch on one person or one position group, in my mind it's Trey Sermon. What he's been able to do, he's going on a run that Zeke Elliott did in 2014. And when he is able to do those things and run the football the way he is, it frees up Justin Fields and those wide receivers. And that's why you saw all those throws down the field, all those, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. Those guys can take the top off of a defense. Let those guys fly, but you have to be able to establish the run. And what Trey Sermon is doing is completely freeing up Justin Fields. And I think, in my mind, opening up the playbook for Ryan Day.
For sure, and I think we definitely underestimated the impact that Olave have on this offense. His return just made things a lot easier for Wilson, the run game, and what's the other running back? Receiver who caught a touchdown.
J-Mo.
Yeah, exactly.
J-Mo
So we definitely, me personally, I underestimated his impact on that offense, man, and definitely is good to have him back, and we're going to need him this weekend, this Monday versus Alabama, but like Bob said before, we couldn't go down in the red zone and keep getting 3 points. I think we scored every trip except the red zone, except one ill-advised interception in the end zone. But other than that, man, the Bucs played a complete game.
So you said player of the game?
We're going to get to that.
Oh, we didn't do
after
that?
we,
I thought that's what
after we
my
give some
bad.
championship
My
level
bad.
credit
My bad.
to the people that brought this weekend kickoff to us all year.
Good.
Your Central Ohio Bryant Heating and Cooling dealers who will do whatever it takes to make sure your home keeps you warm and comfortable this winter. And if you're worried about the air quality in your home, be sure to talk with a Bryant professional about the Evolution Air Purifier. Schleggs, I know you'll love this. Bryant's air purifier uses capture and kill technology.
Yes.
Attack and dominate.
I
which
love
will help
that, man.
Make your home a healthier home. Find your local Bryant professional at Bryant.com. Bryant, doing whatever it takes.
Who doesn't want a healthy home?
Well, I think we all do. And
Yeah, we
Bryant,
do.
Bryant can do it. They'll do
Yes.
whatever it takes. Zach already took one player of the game, so maybe he could go double dip here.
Well, you said Trey Sermon.
It's your whatever it takes players of the game. And I'll let you do it 2 ways if you want.
Oh,
Whoever
okay.
stood out in the Sugar Bowl or who needs to do it against Alabama. You can go either way you want.
You starting?
Bobby got it.
All right, I'm going to take my same 3 dudes that I took last time.
Oh.
The interior, because nobody takes guard, center guard.
Yeah.
All right? Nobody takes those guys, and Harry Miller was part of it. Then he didn't start, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have another injury, and then you have Paris Johnson going in.
Well, how about Matthew Jones, man?
Matthew Jones played really well.
Matthew Jones playing really well. Paris goes in.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a tackle, and he's a freshman. Like, hey, you're going to play a new position, and I know
Had
you
a
probably
couple
haven't-
pancakes out
Oh, and
there
he
too.
was mashing dudes. And so to me, it's going to be the same thing because if you can establish that, you watch Trey's runs. I mean, his yards before contact was like 5 or 6 yards because there was such a surge. And so if you can get that, you can do anything. Play action is going to be there all day long. So if those three guys, whoever it is, I think Josh Myers, Wyatt Davis are locked in. Whoever the third guy is rolling through, if they can get that type of push again, it'll be. I can't say it's going to be a long night for Alabama, but the game will be in doubt. It will be a close game for sure.
For me, it's going to be the D-line as a whole. We all know up front Alabama's O-line is huge. Huge. But you got a quarterback that doesn't move too well outside of the pocket. He wants to stay in the pocket. You got a top-notch running back. So if the D-line can apply pressure on the quarterback on 3rd and long and at the same time establish a new line of scrimmage on 1st and 2nd down, it makes the job a lot easier not only for the defense as a whole, but primarily your linebackers. You know what I mean? And it's going to force the quarterback to have to throw in a tight window, make the perfect pass to. We all know he got a Heisman, wide receiver. So that's a major. It's going to be a major task to deal with him alone. So I feel like the D-line has to come to play, reestablish the line of scrimmage every play, and make the quarterback throw in the tunnel and just applying pressure every single play.
Yeah, the player of the game is Justin Fields, but I want you to talk about that because you're a quarterback and what his toughness and how his toughness was really displayed in that game. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with the tight ends and the linebackers, and here's why.
You can't pick two position groups.
He just picked 3 dudes.
It's Bobby.
A same position group.
All together.
Exactly.
Same
Bobby.
position group.
Schlegs,
All right, fine. I'll pick
championship-
linebackers. You going to take tight ends?
Schlegs, it's a championship edition. You can do
It's
whatever
a
you want.
championship edition. The
Charge
song
it to
about
winning.
Piston. Yeah, charge it to winning. Poof, David Copperfield. Here's the deal. So tight ends. I'm taking the tight ends and the linebackers for this reason. In the run game, they are so pivotal to blocking the edge and sealing the backside. They're fantastic at it. Plus, I think they're a mismatch on Alabama's linebackers because they're not as big as they used to be. Their linebackers are a little bit smaller. I think there's an advantage for Ohio State there. Then I'm going to go to the linebackers. Justin Hilliard has been playing the best ball. He's had a pick and a fumble recovery in like all the last 3 games. He's playing phenomenal. Setting the edge is critical. And here's the other thing. Najee Harris out of the backfield. I think the D-line is going to do a phenomenal job, but you still got to fill the holes. Yeah. One back, one gap. But it's going to be him out of the backfield and Pete Werner on him to negate that because then they try to run it. And again, 254 yards rushing versus 44. I don't do math, but guess what? I know that's a lot. And it started, the linebackers did a really good job tackling. So anyways, that's what I got. Poof, David Copperfield. Go.
They erased Travis Etienne in that game.
They did, man. 44 yards.
ACC leading rusher in ACC history.
And eliminate
Non-factor.
him. Yeah, and eliminate him.
See you later.
Since Schlegs took the whole team and basically the coaching staff, I was going to take the linebackers, but because you took them, there's one guy, Shaun Wade. It is put up or shut up time. We've been talking about him all year. You've got one game to get redemption on the entire season. Right now, all of Buckeye Nation, the entire country, there is a bad taste in their mouth from your play this year, whether it be lackadaisical, whether it be just uninterested, whatever it might be. Guess what? You've got one game to change it. That is it. Shaun Wade, go have yourself a day. Rewrite history. You have got one chance to take on the Heisman Trophy winner and shut him down. Go do it.
I don't know if you shut him down, but I'm picking up.
Guess what?
You put
Shut
down.
him down.
I'm picking up what you putting down, though. I
Thank you.
get what
Yes,
you're saying.
yes.
But
That's a speech I'm giving him before the game.
Oh,
You know?
for sure.
That's it.
One-on-one. Pulling him in the bathroom stall.
That's
Listen
it,
here.
in the bathroom stall. This is
Listen
it. Quick, take a sip of this
This
5
got
hour
awkward.
energy. You got this.
This got awkward.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I need to talk to you. Hey, wait, I need to talk to you for a
That's
second.
one of Zach's best moves. The bathroom stall, pull him on in there. That's who you get the one.
Hey, 5 hour energy
Look in
shot.
my
Let's
eyes.
go.
Look
Yeah.
into my eyes.
But my players of the game and the same guys who need to step up for this Alabama game is going to be that front. I'm not going to say front 5. I'm going to include the tight ends in that and Trey Sermon because we talk about the quarterback's favorite target or best friend on the team. I think it's a great run game. And with a great run game, you open up shots downfield. Like, we can take advantage of Olave and Wilson and other guys on some of these Alabama DBs. I mean, they only got one guy we need to worry about on the back end is Surtain Jr. He's legit. But, I mean, I'm still taking our receivers over their DBs if we have a solid run game. So my players of the game from Clemson is the tight ends, and offensive line, and the running back, just because they're concerned in the running game. And then this is the same group of people need to step up in this game.
Here's what I love about this matchup is you look on the outside, and it is a heavyweight battle. There are matchups that are circled on this, from Shaun Wade going against Devontae Smith, right?
But let's be honest, that won't be a one-on-one. But
there is a one-on-one matchup right there. I know you had a talk with his father. Okay?
Good on you.
Listen, I know. Okay, listen. There was a one-on-one matchup there, and
people are just picking Twitter fights with Cardale right now. It's not a good.
I handle mine.
But at the same time, that the other guys on the other side of the ball, Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, are circling that matchup. They want to go up against Patrick Surtain. They want that matchup, and they want to own him. So you look at those two matchups on the outside, the Buckeye players with Wilson, Olave, and then Shaun Wade, they are salivating, waiting for those matchups, and they want to show out.
For sure, I get that, and all the matchups sound great, but we trying to win this game, and I don't think Coach Combs will put him in a position in many positions, and a lot of times, if Alabama got 60 snaps, maybe we see a one-on-one battle between them two, maybe twice, at best. I mean, it ain't about egos anymore. I mean, Wade's not have the season that we anticipated him to have, but this is the Heisman Trophy winner. This is the offensive player of the year.
Hold on. Hey, what'd you say before dinner, or right before Christmas dinner? What'd you say, Coach Meyer? You didn't even know my name before that Michigan game when I walked in there. Guess what? Yes. Shaun Wade, your name will be known. Coach Combs has got to do it.
We'll see.
I can't believe we haven't talked about Justin Fields and his toughness.
He can have the whole second segment.
Okay, never mind.
I think that Baron Browning is going to be somebody that has to step up in a huge way in this game, and I think that it may have to be at defensive end. You look at the pass rush. We know Zach Harrison and Tyler Friday both missed the Sugar Bowl. Possibility. You never know what's going to happen with testing protocol. That Rushman group. We've seen it pop up on that availability report. And Baron Browning can be a solution for that. I think his best work is when he's been in that stand-up edge rushing role. And if you need to find somebody else to potentially do that, he did it late in that fourth quarter. Zach, we talked about it on Buckeye Q this week. They put him in there, and he is so quick off the football. It's kind of fitting in some ways that we never found what position he was best at for Ohio State, a linebacker. And it may just be that stand-up edge rush.
That's what he did in high school.
Yeah.
And so, get really good guys, really talented athletes, and ask them to do the same things that they were good at before. It's amazing that they'll probably still be good at those things.
Yes.
When you ask them to sit back and do different stuff and, we're going to make them this, all right, yeah, you can do it, but listen, Baron Browning in high school was a 5-star edge dude. He's still a 5-star edge guy. Don't ask him to sit back and read and do other stuff, and especially now when you're shorthanded. I don't say it in a bad way.
It's funny because I'm going to bring up a story in 2014 of a player, but go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, but just let them go. Let them go. Let them be what they're good at. And so hopefully out of necessity, that's probably going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if we have 50 snaps at the end.
And it's also not even necessarily that pure necessity because Justin Hilliard allows you now to be more flexible. Cardale, what do you got?
Jamal Marcus.
Oh, my goodness.
Edge guy. But he was a little undersized, but we were trying to put him on linebacker. Could not play. He couldn't comprehend everything he had to do at a linebacker.
He didn't know what 2 + 2 was.
It was see ball, get ball. We put him at defensive end. By far, no one had a correct zone read on him. And he used to give guys nightmares and we used to scream he's offsides, he'd give them the clap. But that's what he did in high school. That's what he's really good at. And it's just go get the ball. You don't have to make checks or listen to this and that because at linebacker, I'm pretty sure Coach Fick wanted to do some.
Oh, my goodness.
Because every other play, Jamal was out of place.
The good thing about what you just said and you and Bobby have been talking about, and it reminds me of the 2014 Sugar Bowl, Steve Miller. So because Barron has some high football IQ, and he understands zone coverage and drops. The potential of being able to have him drop in some type of defense, whatever it is, he can do that. He can do whatever you ask him to do. He understands why setting the edge is so important because of what these guys are looking at that are behind him at linebacker. That's why he's good. I completely agree. When you have guys that are really elite at what they do and then you try to change them, that sucks for them. I can't wait to see him if that actually does happen.
Well, and here's the other thing. Baron Browning is so athletic. When you have a linebacking core of Pete Warner, Tuff Borland, and Justin Hilliard playing how well they are, you can just let him go because you know those guys are going to make him right. If you got Pete Warner on the outside of him, you got Justin Hilliard on the outside of him, those guys will make him right. So you tell him, hey, go be athletic, go be a dude, go get the football.
So to sum it, I think what Schlegel was trying to say is that let him be like Steve Miller Band and fly like an eagle.
See, that's why I love you, man.
That seems like a great place for us to take our break. We're still going to talk about Justin Fields, and we're going to make a prediction for the national title game when we come back after this quick break. This is Weekend Kickoff Championship Edition, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
Here, let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
Welcome back to the final segment of the year, I guess. It's the National Championship Edition of Weekend Kickoff, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. It's Ohio State and Alabama. Let's get into it. Justin Fields talked with the media on Thursday. You guys have all been through it. You know what it takes to get through some of these games after a painful shot to the ribs and maybe a painful shot from the doctor as well. Cardell, with what you saw him dealing with last week, what percentage of health do you think he could be at on Monday night, and how impressed were you with what he was working through last week?
I mean, as a quarterback, toughness is inferred. It comes with a job. So I'm not surprised how tough a quarterback is. If he would have went out for example, like last year, no offense, I'm a big Tua fan, but he was dealing with an ankle injury. Yeah. But every incomplete pass, he's limping. But every touchdown, he's running down the field. Play ball. We ain't
I see ya.
Yeah, we play. All that LeBron stuff, taking 2 minutes to get up after you draw a charge or you hit the deck. Get up and play the game. There's still a lot of games to play, with or without you. So I'm not impressed with no quarterback toughness. It's the lack of toughness.
Okay.
I expected that from Justin. What would make you be out that game?
Cardell Jones says,
That's
"Get
my
off
quarterback.
lawn."
That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback.
Let me at him, man. Let me at him. Hold me back, man. Hold me back, dude. Hold me back.
That's my quarterback.
Y'all need a
No,
hug.
I expect this to be a physical game versus Alabama, and I don't see any of these players without COVID restrictions not gearing up or that's going to walk off that field. That's not really a major injury. It's the difference between being injured and hurt. Coach Mickey said it all the time.
Big time.
So
If you were hurt, you went to the pit, and then you got pulled back to practice. Remember Carlos?
trust me, if you hurt, I don't want to go to the pit. You still playing.
Carlos,
Shoveling sand.
Carlos came over to the pit. This is a true story. Fun fact. This is before they changed the rules. But the pit was where hurt guys went to get rejuvenated to go to practice. And Carlos came in there. I was like,
that's
hey.
like that's where injury reevaluation occurs.
It's true.
I'm not that hurt.
I like that one. I remember Carlos came in there. He's like, what I got to do? I'm like, well, everybody that comes over to the pit has to do the routine of the pit. And he's like, what's that? Well, you got to crawl in this sand, army crawl, and then you got to back army crawl on this rope as I shovel sand on you, and then you're going to row the boat in the sand with a 45-pound bar in it, and you're going to do that 5 times. And after 1.5, he's like, I feel good. And he was back up there. I was like, let me dust you off, man.
You start working out that tight hamstring. It loosened up for some reason.
I got one of the steel blowers on. I'm like blowing them off. Like, oh, yeah, you're good, man. Go back. Have a great practice.
Oh, man.
It was legal.
Yeah.
It's not a place to be.
It was programmed.
I remember watching it happen. I think I'd rather practice.
Here's the thing when it comes down to this. On the wall above Mickey Marotti's office,
Yes.
you've been in there, Austin. The tougher you are, the tougher you get.
Yeah.
Now, I said if you have zero toughness, what does that mean? How do you get any? You have to get a little to get more. So you have to have a
Gotta
little
start
seed.
somewhere.
You have to have a little seed of toughness. But when you train as hard as those guys do, like you become comfortable living in discomfort. You're sore, you're tired, you're fatigued, you're doing team up north stuff at the end, and it's absolutely awful. And I'd lift and watch those guys thinking, I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. And don't be so soft, because when I was young, I used to do that like an old man. But you see that, and so that when you train hard like that and you're involved in it, you have a firm appreciation for actually how injured you are. And like for Justin Fields, dude, everything that he had heard about inconsistencies, all this stuff, he's 8th in the Heisman voting. Like, you can say that. But he's a proud dude. He's a proud man. He had a great year last year. You got to back it up, and that's why I'm always a fan of a second-year starter, because you have to then come and answer expectations, and it's hard because you're going to struggle some. So he did all that. You knew he wasn't going to come out. He ate it. He threw, he's throwing a little out route to a tight end for a touchdown. All right, you can do that. And then you see him finally like gas up and chuck 160. You're like, okay. I mean, dude, I don't care if you had to bite the inside of your mouth. You go do that. He'll be fine. I am convinced you're not going to see a tentative Justin Fields on Monday night. Whatever it takes to win, because this is career. This is life-changing for him. If he wins this game, no offense to Cardell here, he's the best quarterback in Ohio State history in my mind.
Well, but Cardell can tell you how much it changed his life to win a national.
It's a blood transfusion.
But I mean, to win this game, to go to back-to-back and put the 2 seasons up he did, and the way that he does it, the 2 teams he beat, like he would be the best quarterback in my opinion in Ohio State history. There's a lot of really.
He would have
good ones,
a really impressive resume. You know, his record for his stats and the teams that he beat and the things they've done in such short time. You know, he will.
I think Justin does. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's why I just think he's going to be fine. You're going to see the best that kid has to offer because he's tough, man. He's a good kid. He's been through it.
Yeah, BB, you were in the locker room with him last year.
Yeah, he does a good job of exemplifying what it means to be a part of the Buckeye culture. You know what I mean? Like Bobby pretty much broke it down in the detail, but one thing Coach Meyer used to always say is at all costs. At all costs. What does that look like? Justin's doing it. At all costs, he's going to put his body through whatever it needs to go through to win this game. He's going to go through whatever amount of rehab, prehab, post-hab to be ready for this game. At the end of the day, you've been through too much and done too much and had to deal with all this extra COVID BS, not knowing if you're going to have a season to get to this point and let 3 or 4 whatever ribs keep you from
because they're not your ribs.
Hey, even if it was, it is what it is.
I know.
Son, put some barbecue sauce on them ribs. Let's go. Let's go. We got to go. You hurt, he hurt.
Hey,
let's go.
You might not be able to say it on here, but sometimes you pop a perk, take Adderall, you're good. Go on with your day. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he's going to do what he needs to do to be ready for this game and to win this game. So.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll just be a couple of leaves or some Tylenol on Monday night.
Justin Fields may not realize it at this moment, being a kid from Atlanta, Georgia, first going to Georgia and then coming here. But this game could be a life-changing game for him, especially being in Columbus, Ohio. Cardell will tell you, being in Columbus, Ohio, being a national champion, starting quarterback for the Ohio State football team, I mean, let's be honest, your life is set. I mean, unless you mess it up, you know, but this could be a life-changing game for Justin Fields. Granted, I think he's going to have a massive NFL career and do a bunch of great things. That's next level. Yeah. I don't like talking about injuries because I think all of us up here at some point or another have probably done something that 99% of the audience that's listening probably wouldn't agree with. And, you know, I know people were giving Justin Fields a hard time and the national media was going at Dr. Borchers and Ohio State doctors for giving him a shot when, you know, when his ribs were hurting and not diagnosing him right then. Guess what? As a player, hey, Doc, I don't care what my injury is. Do whatever it takes so I don't feel much pain and let me go back out there.
Worry about it later.
Like, I don't care. Right. Like, Doc, I don't even care if it's broken. Give me a shot. I'll worry about it tomorrow. I need to get back out there, right? And so that's why I don't really like talking about games. Some of it probably isn't ethical, but at the same time, it's not like the doctors are doing it. We as players are the ones behind it saying, Doc, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be out on that field.
Well, and their role is to tell you when it's a point
Correct.
where you gotta stop. And he wasn't at that point last week. I think people were looking at his – I'll let you finish, Cardell, but people were looking at his comments, and he doesn't talk about his own injuries either. There was no reason that he was going to sit up there and say on Friday night, yeah, Alabama, you should target this 6th rib right here or my hip. He's not going to do that. He never was. And he said that on Thursday, you know, I have full faith in the training staff to do that. Nobody made him do that. Nobody made him take the shots.
Right. Exactly. Going back on that 14 season, we get ready to go up to Michigan State, Lansing, play Michigan State that night, and they just beat us the year before, I think, in the Big Ten championship game.
They did.
And at that point, I was the backup, and we was going through a walkthrough drill, and I'm supposed to have my ankle taped, and I didn't. And I come down practicing a jump pass on Joe Hale's ankle. He was like the backup center. I come down, and I roll my ankle, high ankle sprain. And I was known for not taping my ankles on Thursday practices, and I can hear, as I'm looking to the sideline, getting the signal for the next play, I hear Coach Herman screaming, tell me you got your ankles taped. Tell me you got your ankles taped. And I'm ignoring it. And then by the time the 4th or 5th time he said it, and because I'm limping at this point, I'm limping too. And I say, nope. And I try to hurry up and get back in the huddle. And he kicked me off the field. Long story short, my ankle sprain was so bad, they told me if I broke it, if they break it, it will be a faster recovery. So, and we flew on a plane to go to Michigan State the next week. And that was the big thing the next day. That was the big thing about the elevation and swelling back up and things like that. I wore a size 13, so my cleats on my left foot, I had a size 17 cleat on because they had to tape my ankle brace, tape it, one of those air ankle braces, put the cleat on, tape it, and get a shot. So if I had to go into the game, I couldn't even move my foot. I stayed on the sideline. I couldn't even move my foot if I had to go in that game. And then looking back after the game, it kind of made it worse because now my ankle was so big, I literally could not see my foot.
Oh.
Literally could not see my foot
Where'd
from
my
just
foot
standing
go?
up. Where'd it go?
Where'd my foot go?
It's just a big thing like this down there. But no injury report. Still had to practice the next day because we fly back, and still had to go through the week. I was still the backup quarterback, and let alone what I would have did if I was to play in that game. I would have borrowed somebody else's ankle.
And that's the other thing. I mean, people don't know what we're going to go through because that's what we love to do.
It's part of the game. It's part of the game.
I remember when I was with the Bengals, man, I had turf toe. I didn't even know what turf toe was. I used to think people were soft for having turf toe until you get it shot up for 14 weeks where they take a cortisone needle and they bend your toe down where your toe joint opens up. Yeah, how do you think that feels? Pretty good, but you know what? I played 14 games, then I broke 3 processors. I dislocated all my thumbs. Everybody up here has been hurt in the game of football. But you know what? Attack and dominate. You put a thumb splint on, you stick it in your glove, you try to go knock somebody's junk in the dirt. Period. That's what we like to do.
Hey, if we want
charge it to winning.
Hey,
charge it to winning.
Guess what? I'm 39 years old. I can still deadlift 700 pounds.
Charge it to winning. Zach had to wear freaking neck braces last year in college. Freaking collar. What was that?
No, I did. A cowboy collar?
Yeah.
No, I did not. I did not have to wear a cowboy collar. But hey, this is a true story.
It happens.
So this is a true story, and you know this one. So if anyone wants a legit story of what can happen before a football game when it comes to injuries, senior year, Johnny.
He's doing it.
Johnny,
this is what the doctors are supposed to do.
Yes.
Save you from yourself.
Yes.
Because there does come a time when that needs to occur.
So we are. It's a 2012. We have a 12 game season. We are 11-0. We went into overtime against Wisconsin. Johnny, after the game, like, man, my knee is just killing me. We knew it was the last week, right? Michigan week.
Oh.
Johnny's knee, and when he got back Sunday, was as big as this bucket, right? And it's purple, and like you can't see anything. So the whole week he can barely walk, nothing. And so it's senior day. Johnny and I used to always walk together from the Blackwell to St. John and then St. John. And I'm like, where is Johnny? Johnny's dad comes up to me and goes, where's Johnny? I'm like, I don't know. Wait, where's he at? Little did we know, Johnny woken up at 5 a.m. that morning, went with the team docs over to the locker room at the stadium, is sitting there. He can't have any pain medicine because he obviously wants to play in the game. Yeah. He's biting on a towel. We hear this after fact. Biting on a towel. They are scalpeling his knee open and putting tubes in his knee to try and get all the liquid out of his knee, just so the swelling can go down, so he can play the game against Michigan. And that was Johnny putting his NFL career on the line. Finally, the doctors stopped. They were like, Johnny, no more. We're done. Like, he would test it, go out and run, come back, be like, you need to take more out. Go out, run. But that's like Johnny Simon, man. Yeah. Like, that's what they do.
He's amazing. That's real. It happens.
It's a real story.
But you know what, though? Like, who are you to tell me that I can't do that? If I want to get my knee drained and scalpel and try to go out there and play with pain, bump you.
Getting your knee drained is where they put a needle and drain the blood out.
Yeah,
what John Simon had is they took a 1-inch scalpel, jammed one of the old school like water bottle tubes in there, and then funneled blood out of it by squeezing it down through his quad.
Yes.
When he was telling me that, I almost threw up before the game. I'm like, that sounds
John
awful.
Simon is a tough dude.
I think they bottled it and they still keep it in the locker room there in the Woody.
Vrabes walked in on it, and he was like, I got stuff in my eye.
Corey Lindsley hit him with his helmet, headbutted him, and he was bleeding. Oh, good times. But see, this is why you play football, man. Like, these are the memories. You guys might think it's absolutely crazy. I freaking love it.
You know what? My dad, it's the God's honest truth. I'll tell you this. My dad used to tell my mom this after all the kids she had and all the injuries I had. Pain has no memory.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. I'm not really sure.
I always thought pain
has no memory.
Besides Johnny's. Yeah. And he had porn star dancing playing on repeat.
Urban's favorite song. Yeah. Welcome to Urban Myers Pine House, everybody. Yeah. All right. Pain is the indicator of life, is what I've always said.
Short story long, Justin Fields isn't going to be dealing with that.
No, he's not. Listen, he's not dealing with anything like that. He's good.
No, he's fine.
All right.
Put some sauce on those ribs. You'll be all right.
Got the buyer's auto question for the general, but we're going to expand it for everybody once again this week. You've all played in the biggest, most important games at the highest level for Ohio State. Bob, you've done it at the NFL level, Schlegs. What are the emotions like when you know that this is it? There's one game. You're talking, Cardale, about you know you've got to play it. You've got to be out there, and you'll do anything. You'll borrow somebody's ankle to do it. Monday from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. What will that be like?
The hardest time, like you said, is 6A to 8P. Because I don't know if Ryan's quite like Urban, but they wanted to wake those guys up at like 5:30 in the morning for an 8 o'clock kick, p.m., and to have them ready to go. And so my routine was, it's like a slow build, slow boil. I would always try to get up around 7:38, go down, continental breakfast, have a bagel, come back up, eat with the team, like lay down a little bit more, be with the team. But it was always just move a little bit, stretch out every once in a while, watch some film, have some meetings. But you're trying to manage all of those emotions. And I guess it might be like a woman on their wedding day, like trying to sit there and manage everything. But then you have to go out there and you hope you're just not physically exhausted and mentally exhausted by the time the ball kicks. So you think about your stuff, and eventually it's like, let me put this away, because I can only look at the same thing so many times. Like you're gonna go brain dead, and you're just waiting for it. So the night games are awesome. This is it's a very, very tough situation to deal with. And I'll never forget 2002 when we're playing the national championship with the Scottsdale Princess, which you guys have stayed at. It's a phenomenal place. We're at the place where it's elite. Yeah. So we're sitting there, and right the place you have your pregame meal right there in the front. And Donnie Nicky's one of our captains. Him and Mike Doss, two 4-year starters at safety back there, and they're captains. And Donnie gets the last word, in our captain's talk. And they've got the little pop-up trays, and their ladies are collecting all of the stuff and the servers. And Donnie goes over and yells some things that I cannot repeat, and then kicks that tray, throws it in the air, glass. He's like, let's go take care of these guys, in so many words. And we just all got up and walked out. I'm like, I felt so bad. I'm looking at those ladies. I'm like, I'm ready to go. After all day long, like, dude, fuse was lit. Let's go. It's time to play. It's 6:30. We're heading to the stadium.
I think it's one of those things where Coach Johnson likes to call it the building of your fire pit. You got to go out, you got to collect your wood. It's a process, and you got to slowly let that process build up. And then when the game hitting the foot hits the ball, then it's time to ignite it. You know what I mean? So for some of those guys, managing your emotions and managing how you feel, being able to relax when it's time to relax. Getting to when you got to get off your feet, actually get off of your feet. Lay in bed and go through, your scouting report. Lay in bed, maybe take a small nap, come back up, look at a little bit more of your scouting report. Don't try to overanalyze and overdo a game that has not started yet. You know what I mean? So you got to just kind of manage your emotions, manage just getting ready for the game, manage your mental. So if they're able to do that, when the foot hits the ball, it's going to be crazy.
And it's so funny that we're talking about this because we actually train this, right? So all year we talk about, get up, you're engaged, all right, relax. Get up, engage, relax. Like we do that on Friday. So on this game, this is what it's going to look like. They're not going to wake them up at 6 o'clock in the morning. They're going to wake them up at 8. They're going to go downstairs. You're going to get championship water. Yep. You guys are going to go on a walk. Then you're going to have a team breakfast. Then you're going to meet individually with your coaches, right? Then you'll probably meet with your squad, right, with your unit,
yeah.
Right? Then you're going to have a little break, downtime, go back to your room. Then you're going to come back down and you're going to have lunch, and then you're going to go out and you're going to do a walkthrough, and then you're going to go back to your room and you're going to be down again. Then you're going to come back down and you're going to do the team meal because it's the 4 hours that always go into the game. It's always the same thing. All right, it's the pregame meal. You have your bag downstairs ready. You have your coat and tie on. Boom, you go to the bus. Biggest thing is in this, you don't want to blow your load too early. That's the thing. No. That's a bad deal. Nobody wants to do that. Never. But that's where BB was talking about.
I have trouble with that.
Take your mind off the game. We all know that Zach does for sure. But that's the thing. In this, and you already have the anticipation of it. You've already arrived. It's the biggest game of the year, biggest game of your career, biggest game of your life. Yeah. And you already have that. So I think they're going to be absolutely fine because the beauty of Ohio State being in this matchup, it's not like it's their first rodeo.
Yeah, for sure. And to piggyback on what Bobby and BB said about, Bobby, you don't want to over-prepare. BB, you said it's a process. Starting your fire. Coach Meyer used to revert back to so many military terms. And I remember in the beginning of the week, he used to say, hey, the coppers ain't going yet. We gassing them up. Especially for a night game. And, we hear them. And it's just thinking about the process of don't want to overload a guy. So we wouldn't have, a scouting report or our tips and notes and in-depth conversation with our coach until maybe that lunch or getting ready for a team dinner because you don't want to, like you said, overstudy something and it's still a build-up. So that was actually my favorite part, the whole process of getting to the game. And then you just make the game that much sweeter because now you're just riding off emotions and reactions. And that's how sometimes you get the best results.
Yeah, in my mind, night games, it was always easier when I was either talking to someone or around other people, right? As soon as you, on a game day, you get in your own mind and you start getting locked in, that's kind of when the juices start pumping. That's when you're sitting there and your legs start twitching and you kind of get, you feel everything coming together. And so I know those night games were always hard. Granted, whenever we wake up and go on a walk and do breakfast, and then go to meetings, it was easy because you're sitting there talking, you're around other people, and you're engaged. I know the hardest part for me were the 2 breaks that you had. You'd have like a 2-hour break after those meetings before lunch, and you'd have another probably hour and a half break until like pregame meal. So those to me were the hardest because I'm not a napper on those days. So what I would do is kind of have a routine, and I'd call, my parents, call my girlfriend at the time, kind of keep engaged to not
He's
let
single now, people. Just all you ladies.
not anymore.
Oh, no. Oh, never mind. I forgot. Yeah, you have one. Never mind.
Whoa. Hey,
You've been gone too long.
Hey,
Trey.
Jeff Ruby's market price.
I know. Jeff Ruby's, right?
Let's go.
So, in my mind, you have to keep yourself engaged. And then, to me, it was always 2.5 hours before game time. Bam, you start to lock in. Music starts playing. I know I was in such a routine where I would play the same songs literally in same order every single time up until game time. And, visually, you get on the bus, this song's playing. Visually, you get off the bus, this song's playing. Visually, you walk to St. John, this song's playing, right? And so you get in such a routine, and when that happens, you're so dialed in, but you need to be able to hold off on that. Like you said, the choppers aren't going. In my mind, the choppers start going about 2.5 hours before game time, and that's when you have to start getting locked in. That's what those guys were.
Exactly. Tell me if I'm wrong. The hardest part for me personally, because I was like you, nap time, I couldn't take a nap. Because I would wake up, I got a kind of fuzzy, got to try to get back locked in, so I never took a nap. But
when you have a roommate that's napping.
No. When you got to go watch that hype video, and then right after the hype video, you got to do the walk. And it's like the hype video, because the video that we put out compared to the one that they watched, and they always had a movie clip at the end of every highlight that we put on the week before.
Boondock Saints, baby. That was my favorite. Boondock Saints.
Yeah. So my senior year, we went through a major John Wick phase.
Yes.
And it was just after the highlight video, you ready to really rip somebody's head off.
Yeah.
But then you think, I still got 2 more hours before this game starts. I got to do the walk. I got to get dressed. I got to get stretched out. I got to get taped. I got pregame warm-up, everything. So it's for some people, I'm going to say to some of these young guys, that's going to be the hardest part, because I know this video is going to be a video to where it's going to hit home and hit the souls of a lot of people, but you can't let it get you at 10. You got to try to let it get you to about a 6 and maintain those extra 4 until the foot hit the ball.
Baby, I don't know about you. Right when that video hit, my first 5-hour energy drink went right down the chute, and I'm going to 10 the whole time.
Hey, I had a 5-hour in the Red Bull.
Yeah, it was like all-nighter.
That's great stuff. That's the Buyers Auto question for the Buckeyes. Some insight to what will be like for Ohio State as they lead up to kickoff against Alabama, which, of course, there's only one game left. That's the Silver Bullet
Let's
pick
go.
segment. It's Ohio State. It's Alabama. It's for the national championship on Monday. This is what all the hard work has been for, getting through quarantine, getting the season reinstated, going through all the cancellations, everything. Ohio State has got into this position to play Alabama. They are once again an underdog. I don't even have to say what the number is. I know what Cardale's pick will be, but Alabama is right now favored by 8.5 points over the Buckeyes.
I got Buckeyes 38-28. Leave it there.
38-28?
Yeah.
It's a good score.
I like it. I'm going Buckeyes 42-28.
Bam. Buckeyes 45-42.
Oh.
Yeah.
Closer.
BB.
21-35.
21-35. Who wins?
Nice.
Oh, I kind of.
You said.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to smack you in the back of your head.
I don't know where you hold down
That's
to
why
21,
I'm with
though.
Schlegs on that. 45,
I'm going with
42. That's something I've talked about a couple times today, so just stay consistent with that.
All right, 42-35.
Let's go.
Hammer the over.
Sound familiar to anybody?
Yeah.
Sounds like 2014, baby.
It's going to happen again. History has a way of repeating itself. They're playing another Heisman Trophy finalist in the championship.
Winner.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They had the run. There's so many callbacks to what happened in 2014. I can't wait. It's going to be such a fantastic game. You guys have got me juiced up with this insight. It's been another phenomenal weekend kickoff brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. Thanks so much to Urban Meyer's Pint House for having us all year to get to this championship edition. Thanks to Cardale Jones, Zach Bourne, Anthony Schlegel, BB Landers, and Bobby Carpenter for doing this all year. One more big one to go. Can't wait. Monday night. I'm Austin Ward. Lettermen Row will have full coverage. Ohio State, Alabama. Stay with us at lettermenrow.com.